Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 38 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Gage, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. I was just laughing because people obviously can't see, but when that initial intro video is playing, I'm always dancing around.
Doing that, Bob? It's catchy. I like it.
Good stuff.
Hey, Michael, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us as well. There's not an app, but you can join directly from your mobile device as a guest in any stream. Oh, we got a bunch coming in all at once. Hey, Manny, thanks for joining us from all the way from Mexico. That's awesome. We'll probably keep this stream tonight relatively short, just because, as we've been continuously alluding to, Dan are all out on a new release that's coming soon. Some of you are probably tired of hearing coming soon, but trust us, it will be well worth the wait. It's a very, very exciting change. If you have any questions for us, let us know, and we'll do our best to cover them. We also had a few questions for each other that we thought might be a fun change of pace that are related to live streaming that we'll get to in a sec. But before we do any of that, for anyone new here, there are 3 pillars of StreamYard that we cover every week, and those are ease of use, stability, and professional-looking streams. If those 3 things are important to you, StreamYard is the tool for you. And we do these town halls, of course, every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you tune in to get your questions answered, which you guys obviously already know that, but tell your friends. And then also we have some StreamYard shows now, which are really exciting. We have Ross Brand on LinkedIn going live on Wednesdays, which is a great show, just about live streaming news and tips. And Ross also highlights community members. So be sure you watch that stream on Ross Brand's LinkedIn page. It is fantastic. And then we have Rob Balasabas in the StreamYard community group, who goes live on Tuesdays. And I did, I'll look back at the chat here to start seeing if we have any topics from you guys. I did have one question for you guys tonight, which was, I'm curious how many of you use a CRM, basically like a customer management system. Like, and if you do, what do you use? Like, is it, there's a lot of them out there. Like, what's the biggest one? There's what's the huge one? HubSpot. Salesforce, Mail. The smaller ones are like MailChimp. I think there's one that's really popular with bloggers that I always forget the name of. But I'm curious if you guys use a CRM, and if you do, what you use and how you use it in relation to live streaming. Like, do you email your links out before you go live and sort of create some hype around it? I'm curious if that's part of your workflow. So let me just check the comments here.
Would Zapier be a CRM?
Zapier. I'm struggling to even remember what Zapier is. Which one's Zapier? Is that the
integrates with everything?
Oh no, that's not a CRM. CRM is like Drip. Like we use Drip, and
I thought it had that stuff. I've never used it.
It honestly might. I've never used it either. I thought it was
everything else.
I thought Zapier was like similar to If This Then That, like the IFTT thing.
Oh, maybe.
I could be wrong. If anyone in the chat knows, enlighten us. Let's see. NLTMW, thanks for joining us. Kateri, nice to have you here. Will, thanks for joining us. Mike from the Creator Spotlight Show, thanks for joining us. Hey, Nancy, how are you doing? There's so many names now. It's hard to get to everyone. Equity Marketing, thanks for tuning in. AW, Jersey's in the house. Fantastic. Dave Gatton. I believe Dave Gatton is, I think it's a different Dave that's our hockey friend, but Dave Gatton might be our hockey friend. Dave Gatton's either our 3D printing friend or the hockey friend. Can't remember. Nicole, thanks for joining us in the limelight. All right, let's see here. You says, is YouTube shutting everything down? I don't think so. I have not heard that. Lee says, I've started putting the goose up for a minute or two just to show my appreciation. Well, thank you, Lee. We appreciate that. It's technically a duck, but goose is close enough.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, mallard duck.
Fiery Phoenix, is there a way we can keep one free background? There is the default background. I don't know whether or not you'd want to use that one, but there is the default. Kateri says, I'm on StreamYard as we speak. Wow, that's awesome.
Challenging.
Yeah.
Live or just checking it out? Just prepping?
Withrow says, what's up? Not much, Josh. What's up with you? Jason, thanks for hanging out with us. All right, I'm not seeing too many questions here. So in that case, I think Dan and I will get to the questions we had for each other. Kateri asking about the Avast thing. Yes, that's been resolved. They have like an automatic. It's just our website grew a lot recently, so one of their automated systems just has this general rule that picked us up. They actually removed us and apologized for it, so that's all sorted. Beauty Bubble, phew, so many wonderful streamers. Absolutely, thanks for joining us, Beauty. Greg says Zapier is an iPaaS, integrated platform as a service. That's a new acronym for me. I've heard of platform as a service, not iPaaS.
Cool.
Okay, let's get to our questions then. Oh, actually here, Craig says, I use Nation Builder as a CRM. It's designed for nonprofits and political campaigns. Interesting. Cool. I've never heard of Nation Builder before. Do you use it for live streams at all, or just for the nonprofit and political? I guess if you do live streams for your nonprofit, maybe is it tie into any of your live streaming stuff? I'm curious.
And Intercom has some stuff built in as well, don't they?
Intercom, there's so many different variations, like where it's like you could definitely, I think, call Intercom a CRM. It's just very messaging focused, but I think I think it would count. Yeah. Same with Drift, and there's so many different things out there.
Oh, and Infusionsoft. That's the one I was thinking of. Not Zapier.
Infusionsoft is sort of the old class. They had a rebranding recently. They're called. Oh. They're marketed to something else now as well. But yeah, Infusionsoft is definitely one.
I don't know why I got those mixed up. Yeah, Infusionsoft. I don't know if it's as popular as it once was, but.
Rush John says, I use Nimble for my CRM. It's another one I'm not familiar with. Do you use it with your live streams at all, or just for your business? Okay, let's get to our questions. So one of the questions Dan and I had for each other is, what do we think the number one live streaming mistake that live streamers are making? You want to go first, Dan?
Yeah. So just to explain, we were thinking, okay, what are some questions that could be, because we see thousands of streams nowadays, right? We have tons of people using the product, so we get to kind of see everything that's out there, and we figure, okay, what kind yeah, what kind of questions are most people going to have that we might have some knowledge on? So we just wrote out a few questions, and then Gage and I each came up with our own answers and didn't tell each other what the answers were. So we're going to be hearing each other's answers for the first time. All right, so hit me with that again. What was the first one?
Number one live streaming mistake that people are making. And I agree, by the way, Nancy, I used it for a short period of time and was not impressed.
Yeah.
Number one live streaming mistake that people are
making. One live stream mistake. So I had, and it's not even necessarily live streaming specific, but I see it quite a bit with live streaming. I call it stick-to-itiveness. You ever heard of that term?
Stick-to-itiveness. I have not.
So I think it was Thomas Edison maybe the first said it. But it's basically like coming into something with the thing of, oh, I'll try this and kind of see if it works, but like you're not actually committing at all.
Uh-huh.
That hardly works with anything, and I do see it a fair bit with live streaming. So I think it's the type of thing that if you actually want to go for it, like make the decision, okay, I'm going to start live streaming, I'm going to try it, then make the decision to actually do it and really put some effort into it. And okay, I'm going to do what it takes to get this to work. And just anyone who comes in with that mentality, I've noticed does well. And we see some people do very well. Absolutely. And then anyone who kind of comes in with this sort of more dabbler, I'll try it once, and So stick-to-itiveness, and you could call it like persistence as well.
Yeah.
Number one thing.
I'm a bit disappointed because that was essentially my exact answer to the question. I just didn't have a cute name for it. Mine was essentially that. It was basically that the number one mistake I feel like people make is, like you said, they come into it with high expectations, but not the stick-to-itiveness or consistency that you speak of, where the people that go in with a plan that's like, okay, I'm going to try this for this amount of time and get better every single time and just be consistent and work on improving and just make sure, like, where the number one goal is just that each stream is better than the last and you just continue improving. I feel like those people see really big results just before they even know it. They just are in the flow, and then suddenly it's been a month of streaming and it's like, wow, this stream is fantastic now and has had a bunch of growth. But yeah, unfortunately, we had essentially the same.
Hey, you know what though? Like the fact that we both said the same thing, and again, we didn't talk about this beforehand, so the fact that we said the same thing is kind of okay. I guess that probably pretty important. Yeah, interesting.
Hey,
Maybe
Ross
our next one will be the same
is
thing.
asking me to make him a moderator on YouTube, so I'll do that really quick, and then I'll give you the next question, Dan, while I do that with
done.
Ross. So it's best book for a content creator is the next question.
Okay. Yeah, I thought about this one for a bit. So best book for a content creator. So specifically, I guess, for live streaming, but it's not like there's a ton of live streaming books. I put down The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. So for anyone who's never heard of it, it's pretty old, I think. I don't know, 20 years, 30 years would be my guess. But it's more about just like how do you build any sort of product and actually sell it to a lot of people. So there's all sorts of kind of older strategies in there for, his is like getting people into a room and then how do you actually sell them? And it's just like step by step, and it converts really well to the internet world. So if you've never read it, The Ultimate Sales Machine, Chet Holmes. That's my pick, Gage.
Awesome. Yeah, I've actually read that book as well, and it's been a while since I read it, so I'm struggling to remember everything that was in it, but I remember it being super useful for just learning all about sales, and that's obviously an important skill, and no matter what you're doing.
Yes.
My book was it's also something that is most people wouldn't find to be directly related to content creation, but I do feel like that there's so much focus on books and resources that are specifically for content creation when there's a ton of value outside of that is sort of widely applicable. So one book that I think is great is Traction, which you've read as well, right, Dan?
Yeah.
And Traction is actually a book by the guy that created DuckDuckGo, which is the search engine that doesn't track you, is its slogan. It's an alternative to Google, but I think it's great for content creators because the number one thing I always hear people asking about is like, how do I grow my live stream? How do I get more viewers? How do I build a community? And I find that a lot of the advice out there for that, it doesn't really have a rigid structure to it. It's sort of airy, very hand wavy like stuff for how to grow. Whereas this book I found did a very good job of outlining a clear strategy for how you go about growing anything. In this case, it was for growing a business, but I think it can be applied to growing a stream as well. The technique was called Bullseye, but it goes through basically all the different channels for marketing anything, whether that's a business or a live stream. And there's lots of super valuable lessons to learn there. So that would probably be my recommendation.
Cool. Agreed.
And Ross, you now have, you should be a moderator now. If that didn't work, let me know.
Perfect.
Okay. And our final question was best way to come up with content.
Okay. So this one, I thought of a couple of things. I think the best one that I came up with is, well, it's simplified is just asking your audience. But to get a little more specific, because that's obvious, I would say announce what you're going to talk about. So let's say you're like a soccer, you teach soccer, like maybe you're really high level soccer players. You have a podcast for that. I don't know. And you're talking about this week, you're gonna be talking about free kicks, right? Like how to do different types of free kicks, right? Random example. Announce that in advance. So, okay, I'm gonna be talking about that this week, whether that's I'm doing a live stream for it, I'm putting out a video for it, and then go on and do a live stream ahead of time and ask your audience what specific questions they have about that thing. So not just like asking, what do you want to hear in general? Like, what would be useful in general? But okay, I'm talking specifically about this thing. On this subject, what do you have questions about? And you can even go into like a little bit of detail about what you're going to talk about and just gauge the audience. And you could just be one person, like one target viewer. And I think that's enough to just kind of get some feedback from them. A few would be better. And either do it in a live stream or you could just do it over email. Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about this. What specific things do you want to hear from me? That was, I think, the best one that I could come up with.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice. Mine was to use a search engine marketing tool as I think the broad umbrella that they're under to sort of figure out what people are searching for and what they want to learn about. And I think that's especially effective for YouTube, which is pretty much like a search engine. So I think a great way to come up with useful content that people are going to find organically is just figure out what are the types of questions people are asking that are relevant to the type of content you create. So there's a lot of really good paid tools for that, but there are some free resources as well. SEMrush is a good one for basically typing out a word and figuring out what search queries are getting hits. And what's another big one then? Is it Ahrefs? Ahrefs or
Ahrefs, yeah.
Ahrefs. That's a good one.
That's how it's spelled though. Ahrefs.
And there's a that guy that got banned. I had to laugh. He came back with a channel that was called the same name, Backup Channel, which is pretty funny. But there's a free one that's really good too. I can't remember who I heard about it from originally, but it's answerthepublic.com, which is a really cool website where you basically just type in some search, or not a search, just any term that's related to your topic. So maybe you have a real estate business. You can type in the word real estate, and it just gives all these queries that people commonly search for. And sometimes it's ones with lots of hits, or you can find more niche ones. And I think that's a great way to find like what's your next video. It doesn't even have to be just live streaming. Just what your next live stream should be about, your next blog, your next piece of content should be about. I think that's a good resource.
Cool. Right on.
All right. I think that covers our three questions of the evening. I'm going to go back to our comments here and see if there's any important subjects that we missed. Oh yeah, Buzzsumo. I think Buzzsumo, it might be for, I can't remember exactly what Buzzsumo is, but I know it's a good resource for, some people use it, I think, for finding out what's being written about their particular website. But I think you're right that it's also good for researching content ideas, but I have not used it myself. Russ agrees that Answer the Public is great.
Cool. I never heard of that one.
Let's see. Beauty Bubbles, also a fan of Answer the Public.
Fishbowl.
Doing it just with Jason says, what was the name of that site? Answerthepublic.com. And then the other ones I mentioned were SEMrush and Ahrefs, which is spelled Ahrefs, right there.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think there was a question earlier that I wanted to get to. Let me see here. George says stick-to-itiveness is a term that we old-timers know was popular back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I really like a lot of people will say like, oh no, it's I think it's Theodore Roosevelt called it steadfast resolution. But I think it was Edison that first said stick-to-itiveness, or Ford, or one of those guys.
Oh, this is the one that I was looking for. LTM. Sorry, did I interrupt you, Dan?
No, go ahead.
NLTMW said, is there a way to just clear whatever comment I have highlighted? Sometimes the original has scrolled up and away. Scrolling to find it to turn off is frustrating. And I think that's something we're going to add, right?
So right now the answer is no, but yes, that is something we are going to add, especially because we only show so many comments right now. I know some people have run into that. We run into that in our streams now. Like when you have too many comments, it goes off the top and you completely lose them. Yeah. And that's just because if we have too many there, it slows down the whole app. So I'm working on a way to kind of make that cleaner. And then anytime if you were to scroll it and your comment was to go off, there'll be some button maybe at the bottom or the top that's just always there that you can hide. So we're working on that. We have something similar with banners right now. Like if you're in a folder and you click a banner and then you zoom out to the folder level or you go into another folder, at any point you can still hide the one that's currently up. So it'll be something very similar to that, hopefully pretty soon.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions here. Adam says, why don't we have more information in our YouTube description? We probably should, to be honest. I'll probably start filling them out more frequently in our future streams. Most people, these are mostly just Q&A sessions, so people pretty much just are here for the live component, I think. But that being said, our stream last week was great with RJ about chatbots. So streams where we have a specific guest definitely deserve a description. So I'll probably go back and update some of those. Lots of people responding to the troll guy. Let's see if there's any more questions in here.
Was it Ronnie S? I haven't looked at the comments yet.
No, it was a new guy this week. Rush John says Uber suggest. Maybe that was one of the recommendations for finding ideas. I'm not actually. Are you familiar with that one, Dan?
No.
I'll have to check that one out. All right. I think we've covered most of the questions here. StreamYard. Why not? Subjects. Yeah, I think that covers most of the topics. So I'll let you guys get back to your Sunday evening. This was episode number 38 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Dan and I are working hard to bring you the next big release, which is coming in the not so distant future, and we're really, really excited about it. So stay tuned for that. Do you have any closing thoughts, Dan?
No, I had some fun with that. That was a bit of a different town hall. Kind of cool. Let us know if that was useful, or if we should not do that again. Yeah, whatever you're feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Cool. See you guys.